Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to this Thursday episode. You guys' crackhead episode. This is what all the lovely crackheads out there that love this show, it's what they're here for. You know what I mean? You guys love these episodes, and I know you do. You guys be fiending for them. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know who I'm talking to. You know who you are, okay? You know, you might as well point to the finger to yourself now. You know what I mean? All right. Oh, man. But we do have Hooked. Oh, man. Hooked is coming to a close. All right. Oh, man. We have this week, next week, and then one last week. And Hooked will be done. Okay. So I'm going to be looking into some new books. I think I have one that I'm decided on. I'm not 100% sure. I do have to see if it has a good narrator, just because there have been some books that I've wanted to go over, or some books that you guys have recommended, but the narrators just kind of suck. And I'm like, man, you know, and so even this one, the narrators they're all right. I kind of wish that they did it like Haunting Adeline did it, where whenever it was like a James episode, instead of him trying to do the voice of Wendy, it would just be the voice actress that voices Wendy saying her lines. Like, what the fuck? You know, and then vice versa. Like, Wendy is trying to do the voice of James, and I'm like, no, just have them do their own voices. That's what I liked about Haunting Adeline. It was like, even though it was a Zayd episode, Adeline would still voice her own lines. Or if it was a female character, she would voice those lines. That pissed me off so much in this book, if I'm being honest with you. It really took me out of it a lot of the times. It's still a good book. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's probably a little more raunchier than Haunting Adeline, if I'm being straight with you. I don't know if you guys believe that as well. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it is a little raunchier than most, you know. But yeah, I'm going to be looking into some new books on that third day when we finish the book. I will go ahead and, because that episode it's only going to be like 10 minutes of Hooked. So I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want to give you just 10 minutes of the book and then I'm like, all right, the episode's over. I'm not going to do that to you guys. What we'll do is we'll do 10 minutes of Hooked, finish it out, and then after that I will go into the next book. We'll do like maybe the first chapter or the first two chapters. Okay. First two chapters if you're good, okay? If you guys are good, I'll give you first two chapters. You know, I'm a very for the people dictator. You know what I mean? but yeah, I looked at it like it's only fucking 10 minutes. That's kind of bullshit. So what I'm gonna do is we'll go ahead and get into the book. If the chapters aren't too long, we'll go ahead and do 2 chapters. If the first chapter is pretty long, because I know some books like to do a extended first chapter just to kind of like break the book down, get you really into it, world build a little bit, all that kind of stuff. So if it is one of those like long first chapters, we'll just do the first chapter. If it's pretty well timed, then I'll go ahead and do the first 2. So that's what we got planned for the next few weeks coming up on the Thursday episodes. All right, just so that way you guys are in the loop, you guys know what's going on. And yeah, Hooked has been an amazing book. I know you guys have been loving it. I've been loving it as well. I've been like, yo, Wendy out here getting clapped up. I wonder if James is ever going to like finally get up in there and kill her dad. I'm not 100% sure. I still don't know if he's like in love with her, like actually, or is he still in the mode of like, nah, I'm just fucking this bitch to like get at my nemesis. I'm not 100% with it yet. But I mean, we'll figure it out in the next few weeks. So definitely put you guys' predictions in the comments of how do you think Hooked is going to end. All right. I'd love to see what you guys are thinking about the book. All right. But without further ado, we do have our thread before we get into the book. So our thread for today is, what's a disturbing fact you wish you could unlearn? All right. So let's see what disturbing shit you guys have learned and you wish you just unlearned it. You know what I mean? All right. We got a dog that had heartworms. They got treated and are doing perfectly fine now. The thing is, it prompted me to look into them. They're spread by mosquitoes and can live in most large mammals. So what stops humans from getting them? Nothing. The answer is nothing. They just aren't harmful to humans because they can't breed in us properly. You and I might have a few right now. And that goes for most parasitic worms, by the way. That's insane. That's insane. So if you've been bitten by a mosquito recently, you might have heartworms. Yep. Or you might have dead ones, according to them. Because obviously they can't live in our body because I guess they can't thrive in us. So you just got dead heartworms in your body. That's crazy. Wow, that's insane. Woo! Hey, it's going to be an educational one, y'all. Goddamn. All right. What's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? When I had open heart surgery nearly 20 years ago at age 23, the doctors placed pacer wires in my heart just in case they needed to stimulate my heart electronically after the surgery. My words, not theirs. So I wake up and find 2 yellow copper electrical wires sticking out of my torso. Later that day, the nurse came to remove them. This is done by simply tugging until they come free from a small hook or barbs on the end of the heart wall. The nurse warned me in advance that I'd feel my heart physically pull out of my body. That's crazy. She was not kidding. It was unpleasant to say the least, but now, years later, I literally can't forget what it feels like to have someone tug on my heartstrings. That's crazy, bro. Damn. Oh, no, bro. No. See, I'm very squeamish when it comes to like blood and when it comes to like, you know, things of the human body. I get very squeamish with that shit. And so just even hearing that makes me just like, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know what I mean? Oh, man, that's crazy, dude. That's insane that, like, they can literally, you're like your chest is opened up and you just wake up and you're like, oh, shit, and you just see these barbs, you know what I mean, coming out of your chest, and you're like, oh, shit. Oh, and the nurse is like, oh, yeah, you're just going to feel a little tug on your heart, and this lady is literally just yanking on them until they come loose. That's insane, bro. Woo! God damn. I swear, if you, like, took a dude, you know, like from back in the olden days, you know what I mean? And you brought him in and he saw that shit, he'd be like, what the fuck? Witchcraft, motherfucker. Like, you're dead but alive. Like, he would flip the fuck out. That should be crazy. Okay, what's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? There's a condition called Cotard's delusion where a person genuinely believes they're dead. Okay. Some even stop eating or ask to be buried. The mind is terrifying when it breaks. Whoa. And if I'm being honest with you, I believe it. Reason being is because my ex, her grandmother, you know, she had a lot of health issues, and, you know, we were kind of like at a point where we were waiting for her to just kind of go. And she was getting very delusional to the point where she would like forget people's names, or she would think that you're somebody else. And we would kind of just like let her think that we're that person, just so that way, you know, because it made her happy and it made her feel warm inside and all that kind of good stuff. And it got I think it was maybe like a few days before she actually passed. She kept asking to go home. She was like, I want to go home. Like, I want to go home. And we were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You are home. You are here. And she's like, no, no, no. I want to go home. I want to go home. And whenever she would go to sleep, she was just like, oh, I think we're almost home. And, we were like, oh, shit. Home means like, to heaven or to wherever, you know what I mean? Wherever you go when you die. And so we were so tripped out about when we actually found that out. And then obviously 3 or 4 days later, she actually passed away. And it was so crazy because we were like, was she actually delusional, or was she actually like so cognizant to the point where she knew when she was going to go? You know what I mean? And so it was trippy to us, because even the nurse that would like come recently and would give her sponge baths and all that kind of stuff, even she was kind of like, we deal with these patients every once in a while, and we really don't know like what they mean by that. We kind of just go along with it. And a lot of times it does mean that they're almost on their way out. You know what I mean? And she warned us like a few times, like, hey, get ready. She might pass today, just because she's really like talking about going home, and, oh, I can't wait to see this person, this person, this person. And all the people that she's talking about are people that have passed away. So, it's one of those things where like, I do believe this whole like, you think that you're dead already kind of thing. That's wild to me, man. Yeah, the mind is something else, bro. It is something else. All right, what's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Dominant female meerkats will kill the pups of subordinate female meerkats. What the fuck? Then force the subordinate females to feed her babies as tribute or rent to be allowed to remain in the group. Holy shit. So the dominant females would just be like, let me get up in here and just fuck up the little submissive baby, the submissive bitches' babies, and then be like, and then I have my babies come in and be like, yo, eat them. That's crazy, bro. What the fuck? The animal kingdom is crazy. The animal kingdom is wild. I know, like, the one animal I really would not want to be is a praying mantis. Man, you lose your virginity and you die, bro. Like, you finally get you some praying mantis coochie, and once you bust your nut, she fucking eats your head. And it's like, bro, what the hell? That shit is wild. I'm telling you, YouTube that shit. YouTube that. They literally eat the male's head. Literally, my man, like, he busts his nut, right? He be up in them walls. He be like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then she just comes in and she crawls up on him and just eats his head. And you're like, what the fuck? And that's all she eats is the head. She doesn't eat his body, nothing. She just eats the head and then moves on. She's like, thanks for the sperm, nigga. And like, bro, that shit's insane, man. That shit's insane. It's even more insane to watch. Like, if you're somebody that like knew about this, and you're like, oh, I know what you're talking about, but you like never seen it, I'm telling you, bro, YouTube it. It's crazy. It's crazy. You will be like, yo, that's wild. All right, what's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? The whistle of an artillery or mortar shell falling towards you is actually the deviation from its trajectory and where you're currently standing. The closer you are to where it'll land, the less you hear. If it's a direct hit, you won't hear anything at all. Yo, that's crazy. So if you're hearing the shell in the air, that means it's not going to hit you. But if they're just like, yeah, they're shooting mortars. What? I can't hear anything. Boom, dead. Like, you're done. That's insane, bro. What the fuck? Oh, bruh. Whoo. Woo! War is a fickle bitch. Man. Because the same thing is true about like bullets. Like if you can hear bullets whiz, that means they're going to miss you. But if a bullet is going to hit you, it makes no noise. It just impacts you. Like that's crazy, son. Damn. Oh, that's crazy, bro. Woo! I never knew that. All right. What's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Children under the age of 5 try to hide from fires and not run from them. Huh. That's surprising. I wonder why. I wonder why they would try to hide from a fire instead of running away from it. Because you would think, like, maybe they don't think it would spread. You know, maybe they don't have like the understanding of like, yeah, this fire is going to, you know, spread towards you. Maybe they just think like, oh, you know, because it's the whole like, oh, fuck. The object permanence, idea where, you know, if they can't see something, it doesn't exist. And so I think that they probably have a little bit of that object permanence still instilled in them to where, okay, if I go and hide from the fire, then the fire no longer exists and it's no longer there. And I think that's why they do that. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Definitely let me know, because that's what I think it is. I think it's the simple fact of their object permanence. If they can't see it, then it doesn't exist. It's why peekaboo is like such a crazy game to kids, because they don't understand object permanence. I can hide my face and they think I'm gone. They legitimately think I'm gone because they're like, bro, you're not there anymore. There's nothing on the other side of your hands. You know what I mean? But then you're like, oh, and they're like, what the, nigga, where'd you come from? What the fuck? You know, have you ever seen a kid get like fucking startled as hell? You know, you walk up to them like this and then you go, hello. And they're like, nigga, where'd you come from? Cause you weren't here and then now you're here. What the fuck? And then you like disappear and they're like, what? All right, cool then. And then, you know what I mean? Cause they don't understand. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I could be wrong. You guys let me know down in the comments. What's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Centipedes let their young feed on their bodies and obviously dies, while the babies just have a feast on their mom's corpse. What the fuck? That's crazy. I mean, I thought it was a thing where, you know, they would let them eat them because, you know, their body's so damn long. They're just like, oh, yeah, no, it's all good. You know, eat me up to a point and we chilling. You know what I mean? Wow. I mean, I guess it's a thing where some insects, they just don't have, you know, obviously like us mammals, we have the ability to supply our young with food from, you know, the mother's body. But I think with them, they don't have that feature, I guess you could say. And so they look at it like, I have to be the sustenance for my young to continue. That's crazy, bro. Man. Woo. Hey, it's hard out here to be a centipede mom, you know? Damn. That's crazy, dude. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, what is a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Everything about rabies, especially the fact that one symptom show, it's already too late. Damn. Yeah. I you know, I guess. I've never seen anybody with rabies. I know that I remember when I learned that people could get rabies, I was like, holy shit, for real? That was a fact for me about rabies that I wish I could unlearn, because I was just like, bro, I thought it was just an animal thing. So I was like, that's nothing we can get. Nah, man, humans can get fucking rabies. That shit is crazy. Your mouth be foaming up and you just get extremely aggressive for no fucking reason. That shit is crazy. That shit is wild. I remember that was a big thing, like back in the early 2000s. They'd be like, "Yeah, you can get fucking rabies. Oh, don't touch that raccoon. You can get rabies, you know." And I remember it was a thing. And I remember there was a dude in my neighborhood who got rabies one time, and it was crazy because I thought like the police was gonna come get this nigga. Nah, man, the fucking animal catcher came and got that motherfucker. He had to be taken to an animal hospital because obviously I guess they couldn't treat it in a regular hospital. I think they had to treat it in an animal hospital because I think an animal hospital has the correct medications for it and stuff like that. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know, but the animal catcher nigga came and got him because we were wondering like why the animal catcher dude was there. And so I remember a lot of people in the neighborhood were asking why. And one of the kids, his mom, I guess the dude got caught like in front of their house, and the mom had asked like, "What the fuck is going on? What are you doing?" Blah 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 blah. And he told her everything, and then obviously the mom told the son, and then he told everybody else. And so we were like, "What the fuck?" And that's how I found out. I was like, "Yo, what are you talking about? People can get rabies?" And he's like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "People can get rabies. That grown ass man had fucking rabies. He had to get taken to an animal hospital." And I'm like, that's insane. Yeah, bro, that shit is wild as fuck. All right, I'm going to do two more and then we'll end the thread. What's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Lots of creatures eat their own newborn if there isn't enough resources to go around. At age 12, I learned this by discovering a small half-severed pink bodies of a hamster pup while changing their mom's cage litter. Apparently, she wasn't just a cuddly, soft, huggable ball of fur. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's actually in a lot of animal situations. Even cats do that. Dogs do that. Cats and dogs, they will actually kill their young if they're too weak to keep up with everybody else. They will actually not let them feed on their nipples. They will not let them feed. I remember the cat me and my fiance took in, or ex-fiance I should say, we took in, he was the runt of the litter, and he couldn't drink from his mom because she wouldn't let him because he was smaller than all the other cats or all the other kittens, and he couldn't walk very well. And so we chose him because we knew he wasn't going to survive. And so, we bottle fed him and all that kind of stuff. And obviously he grew up and now, he's a full grown cat. The dude's like 3 years old now. But he wasn't supposed to make it. He really wasn't, because his mom was not feeding or not letting him feed while all the other kittens got to feed. And so, yeah, man, that shit happens. And a lot of times same thing with like little ducks. They're little ducklings that follow them and stuff like that. Like the mom duck will drown the duck that can't keep up. And that shit is crazy, man. That shit, when I found out about that, I was like, yo, how in the hell? Like, you would think like the mom would pay the most attention to that one and try to, get it up and going. It's like, nah, man, they don't do that. They just kill it. That shit is crazy, man. Oh, all right. This will be our last one for today's thread. What's a disturbing fact that you wish you could unlearn? Once I read that a research project, someone put a fake turtle in the road to observe driver behavior, and something like 8% of people deliberately went out of their way to hit the turtle. What? Oh, okay. Edit. It's not 8%. It's 6%. But still, the fact that people would actually like, there are some times where I don't even run over like plastic bags in the road because I've seen too many of those fucking Facebook videos where there's like cats inside a plastic bag and shit. Oh, bruh. No, man. That's crazy. That's insane that people go out of their way to do that, to like run over animals and shit in the road. Because I remember there was a time where I was driving home, and I work overnight, so I come home in the mornings and it's like really dark, and there was like this dog in the middle of the road and he wasn't moving, and I was like, bro, get out of the way. I was driving like 50 miles an hour, mind you, because I'm trying to get home. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I see this dog and I'm like, okay, and I slow down a little bit, and mind you, I'm probably going maybe like 40, 35, and this dog is just staring like it wants to die or something. I'm like, bro. So I slow down even more, and then it gets to a point where like I like change lane and get over so that way, and then finally when I pass the dog up, it like runs off, and I'm like, what the fuck was that dog doing? Maybe it was like so locked in fear, that it couldn't move or something. But like, to know that 6% of people would go out of their way in that situation to hit that dog is crazy to me. Like for me, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Thank God I've never run over an animal and like killed it. I'm like, oh, thank Jeebus, knock on like wood, and shit, because I don't know how to live with myself. I'd throw that animal in my car so fast, and I'd be Googling the next like emergency hospital, because bro, I love animals too much for all that. I can't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy to me, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the thread. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. If you have a crazy fact about something that you wish you could unlearn, definitely put it down in the comments, get a part of the thread, and share some shit that that we don't, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, I love doing these kind of threads because it teaches me shit that I just didn't know, and this taught me a lot that I didn't know. I ain't gonna cap, it really did. Hopefully you guys learned something you didn't know either. You know what I mean? Yeah, hopefully. So all right, we're going to opt through announcements super quick. We'll get right into our book, all right? So, patreon.com/MyLastWillPodcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday. So, being able to get your scenarios to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. We have almost 30 members on the Patreon, all right? And hopefully you guys get on in there and be a part of the Patreon down there. $3 a month, over 100 hours of content over there just for you guys. I know a lot of you guys, throw the podcast on to kill time and all that kind of stuff. So, if you need more content to kill time with, that is definitely the place to do it, all right? Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are the GOATs. I appreciate that so much. You guys do a lot to keep this train a-rolling, and I appreciate that so much. Keep downloading. June was our highest downloaded month, so thank you guys for that. Hopefully we can make July even higher, man. You know what I mean? Even higher. So keep downloading that. Keep rating us 5 stars. All that good stuff. If you, it's completely free to you guys, and if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok, and subscribe to us on YouTube. My goal at the end of the year is to get to 2K. Hopefully we can accomplish that. All right. So without further ado, let's get on into our book. I know you guys have been scratching at your necks for it, so I got you. Don't worry. We'll get into Hooked. I believe we're doing chapters 41, 42, and 43. I believe so. It should be 41, 42, and 43. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry. But we'll get into it right now.
41. Wendy. I chickened out and didn't go to the Vanilla Bean, not wanting to come face to face with an angry, outspoken Angie. If her text messages are any indication, she's not exactly happy with me. Assuming that I no-showed and dipped, deciding I didn't need the money. So I took the coward's way out and sent her a text instead. She hasn't replied. Not that I blame her. From her perspective, it seems like I'm a flake, a temporary fixture, leaving them all high and dry. And maybe it's for the best that I allow them to remember me that way. I'm not sure I can come up with an excuse as to why I disappeared, other than the truth. Somehow, I don't think showing up and telling them that I was held hostage, but it's okay because I think I'm in love with the kidnapper, would go over well. I scoff, rolling my eyes and leaning back on James's bed, laughing as I remember one of the first conversations we had here. joking about Stockholm Syndrome of all things. Talk about the irony. A giggle bursts out of me just as the door opens and James walks in, his eyes hollow and haunted. "What's so funny, pretty girl?" he asks, coming to sit next to me on the bed. His hand reaches out, brushing underneath my eyes, and my insides melt like butter from his words and his touch. I grin. "I'm just thinking about the first time I woke up in here. Do you remember?" He leans in, brushing his lips against mine. "I remember every single moment between us, darling." Well, isn't it kind of funny that we talked about nice kidnappers, and then you went all hook on me and did it? His brow lifts. I laugh again. "I'm just saying." My hand flies up. "It's funny when you think about it." He tilts his head. "Are you all right?" Sighing, I lean against the pillows. "I'm fine. Just trying to find some humor from our less-than-ideal start. What a story for the grandkids, huh?" His eyes flare, and I realize what I just said, my chest pulling. Not that I think we're going to have kids, or that they'll have kids. It's just a phrase, really. I know we're still super new, even though, we are technically living together, aren't we? A smile grows on his face and he stands, stripping out of his suit and climbing in the bed, hovering over me. "I'm not sure I've ever heard you ramble before, darling." I lean back, his body weight settling on top of mine. "For the record." He dips his head down, the tips of his hair tickling my neck as he presses kisses to my skin. "I would give you the world. You simply have to ask. You want kids? Done." He presses his lips to my jaw. My stomach tightens. "You want to stay here and never work again?" Another kiss, this time just beneath my ear. "Done." My core flutters, heat spreading through me. "You want to watch the world burn?" "Let me guess. You'll set it on fire?" I ask. He chuckles, the sound vibrating through me and settling into my bones. "No, darling. I'll hand you the match and stand at your back, watching you become queen of the ashes." My breath stalls at his words, at what he's really saying. And that, as morbid as it seems, hits me in the center of my chest, making warmth spread with every beat of my heart. Because James sees me as his equal, as someone worthy to stand at his side. His lips meet mine, and I sink into the kiss, fully giving in, accepting that this is what I want. All of his deep, dark, and slightly unhinged pieces. I choose every single one. I choose him. He pushes up my oversized shirt, another one of his that I put on, his fingers dipping between my legs and groaning when he meets naked skin. I pull his face back to mine, staring into his eyes, taking in the white lines that run through the cerulean blue. Leaning in, I kiss him. He groans, pushing down his boxers, his fingers sweeping through my folds. "I have dinner planned, but I feel as if I deserve a treat." My stomach jumps, my body lighting up with heat and love and acceptance. I'm done fighting it. James may not be a hero, but even villains can feel, and you can't help who you love. He grips his length, running the tip of himself up and down my entrance, pleasure snaking its way through my middle. "You're such a good girl, ready and waiting to take my cock," he rasps into my ear. Butterflies fly through my stomach and up into my chest, my hips rising to force him inside, desperate to feel him fill me in only the way he can. "James, please," I beg. He circles his tip on my sensitive nerves until my legs start to tremble, and only then does he move himself down to my opening and slide all the way inside me. He leans back, his hips flush with mine, and he rips off his undershirt, his scarred body hovering on top of me. "You're beautiful," I gasp as he pulls out and thrusts back in. He smirks.
"Am I?"
"Yes." My heart swells in my chest and my hand reaches up to trail along his jaw. "You're dark and moody and mysterious, but beautiful." Leaning down, he sucks my tongue into his mouth and sets a steady pace, my walls squeezing around his length as if my body wants him closer, needs him deeper. His lips break away, his hand wrapping around my throat the way he knows I love.
"Darling, if I'm the dark, then you're the stars."
And then he squeezes, cutting off my air supply, my vision going blurry moments later. My hands dig into his shoulder blades, fingernails cutting into his skin as I give in to the burn of my lungs, my middle winding tighter with each second that I rim the edge of consciousness. I explode, my vision going black, my head growing fuzzy, and my walls contracting around his cock. Euphoria sizzles beneath my skin. He groans in my ear, continuing his rough pace as I come back to myself, my lungs expanding with every breath.
"Do you want my cum, pet?"
he asks. I moan. "Yes, please."
"I do love it when you beg."
He pulls out, moving up my body until his knees rest on either side of my chest.
"Be my good girl and suck it out."
His length bobs in front of me, glistening from my juices and throbbing from his need for release. I grasp it in my hands, feeling it pulse beneath my fingers, and pull it into my mouth, moaning at the taste of my cum on his skin. I swirl my tongue around the head and relax my jaw as he pumps his hips, his length hitting the back of my throat. My eyes water, but I breathe deep through my nose, his hands fisting my hair and his head thrown back, mouth slightly parted. Seeing him in the throes of pleasure sends a rush of power spiraling through me. I suck hard as he thrusts, gagging as he pushes past the back of my mouth and slips down my throat, spit dribbling from the corners of my lips and sliding down my face. My eyes burn, tears blurring my vision as his hips push until they're flush against my face.
"That's my girl," he coos, "taking my cock down your throat like a perfect little slut."
The insult slices against my middle, but the way he says it makes me want to be his whore, to be filthy and depraved just for him. Only ever just for him. Suddenly he pulls out of my mouth, and I gasp in a breath, my jaw aching. He grips himself and strokes, his hips thrusting into his fist. I watch, desire pooling low in my belly as his body tenses, the vein on the underside of his shaft physically pulsing as thick ropes of cum shoot from his tip. They land hot and sticky along my face, dribbling down my cheek and dropping onto my chest. He lets out a long moan as he paints my skin with his pleasure, and the sight of him coming undone above me makes my insides clench with need. His chest rises and falls as he catches his breath, his palm coming up to stroke my hair and brush across my face, rubbing his seed into my skin.
"So good to me," he praises. "So absolutely perfect."
My chest warms, satisfaction wrapping around me like a heated blanket on a winter's night. I lean into his touch. "James?"
"Yes, darling."
"I think I love you."
42. James. She loves me, and she's the first person apart from my mother who's ever said those words. I hadn't realized until now just how much I needed to hear them. But instead of saying it back, I kissed her silly and gave her food and roses, like that would make up for the fact I couldn't get the words to pass my lips. Not that I don't feel them. I do. I just don't know how to say them. And therein lies the problem. But even though fear beats against my soul, worried she'll take the words back or still think I'm using her for some other purpose, I push it deep down, because what I'm about to partake in has nothing to do with love. My eyes take in the 3 men who are bound and gagged, chained to the walls in the basement of the lagoon. They're naked, their pathetic bodies shivering from the dank concrete floors and the cold AC that blasts through the vents. I walk toward them, the clack of my shoes the only sound other than their whimpers, and my fingers flex inside my gloves. My eyes glance down, scouring along their skin, searching for the mythical mark. And when I find it, I wish I never had. It's exactly as Tommy described, a gold pocket watch with a crocodile wrapped around the face. The sight of it makes me ill. This seems personal, but how is it possible that someone knows? Then again, how is it possible for this to be a coincidence? The twins walk up to the 3 men, ripping the black cases off their heads and tearing the tape from their lips. Their eyes widen as they see me standing in the middle of the room, watching them. "Hello, boys," I grin. "Lovely tattoos. Tell me," I tilt my head, "where did you get them?" None of them speak. "Ah," I click my tongue. "The silent treatment, I see." My hands rest on my hips as I blow out a breath. "Well, I was hoping to do this the easy way, but I can see now that isn't going to work." One of them spits at my feet. "Get fucked, Hook!" I raise my head to the ceiling, chuckling. "Now, there's no need to be rude." I slide my knife from my pocket, twirling it in my hand. Turning, I nod to the twins, who walk to the far wall, retrieving 3 buckets. Normally, I enjoy this type of back and forth, but you see, I'm a little perturbed because there's somebody trying to ruin my good mood, and I heard that you gentlemen might know who that is. The buckets clank against the floor as the twins set them down by the men's sides. I walk forward, crouching in front of the one who spit, rage twisting my features into a wide grin. "Twins," I say without breaking my stare from the man before me, "would you mind bringing me our guests?" "You got it, boss." A 4th bucket appears, scratching sounds and squeaks coming from the inside. "Do you hear that?" I cup my ear with my hand. "They sound excited." Reaching inside the bin, I pick up a small furry animal, its tail flicking against the sleeve of my suit. I bring it up to my face, staring at its small beady eyes, probably on account of how hungry they are. My gaze slides back to the pathetic traitor who's chained to my wall. After all, rats always know when they're on the brink of death. I place the first rodent inside the bucket next to the man, before grabbing another one from the bin and repeating the process until there's half a dozen there, scratching at the sides, attempting to escape. The twins appear, handing me a long lighter before moving forward, picking up the bucket and flipping it upside down until it rests on the man's stomach. They crouch down, their forearms resting along the rim, ensuring it stays in place. The man squirms, no doubt feeling the rats skittering along his skin. "Now," I say, "I'm going to ask one more time nicely. Who gave you that tattoo?" The man's body shakes, pathetic whimpers leaving his mouth, but still he doesn't speak. "Very well. I do wish you had shown that type of loyalty to me, but I respect it all the same." I flick on the lighter. "Do you know what happens when you starve a rat?" I ask, smiling at the pathetic waste of space. "They don't generally need much food, but if you withhold for long enough, you'll find that they become rather ravenous." The first scream pierces the air shortly after I put the flame to the bottom of the bucket, heating it from the outside in. I raise my voice to talk over the noise. "Add a little bit of heat, and they become frenzied in their need to escape," I chuckle. "I think you'll find they're quite the survivalists. They'll even take to chewing on flesh and intestines and bone. "Stop!" he screams. "Please, God, it was a woman!" I keep the flame lit, the bloodlust overtaking my brain until red seeps in the corner of my eyes, and my heart pumps out nothing but vengeance against all who dare to go against me. "I already know it was a woman, you blithering fool. Tell me something useful before I let them eat you whole." But it's too late. His eyes rolling back in his head, losing consciousness as the rats feast on his middle. Sighing, I take away the flame and look to the other two chained-up fools. "Who's next?" I smile, twirling the lighter between my fingers. "The woman," one of them rushes out. "She worked at the bar." My movements freeze, insides squeezing tight. "What bar?" "Yours," he cries, "the JR." I crack my neck, letting out a long, loud laugh. Disbelief running through my veins, because there's no way this man is saying what I think he is, that the woman is not Tina Bell, nor is she a stranger. I rush over to him, my fingers gripping his jaw, my knife out in a flash, slicing against his cheek. "Please," he begs. "Do not lie to me," I demand. "Are you insinuating that someone has been taking advantage of my hospitality?" I ask, fire brimming behind my eyes. "What is her name?" His body trembles beneath my grasp, his hiccups and heavy sobs making his words sputter. "Tell me," I spit, my knife pressing deeper, drips of his blood running down his face. "Moira," he cries. "Her name is Moira."
43. Wendy. "Wendy?" Relief flows through me when I hear John's voice. I was in the shower, and when I got out and saw that I had missed his call, I started blowing him up until he answered, not wanting to do anything until I heard him speak. "John, hi." I breathed down the line. "How are you?" "I'm okay." "I miss you so much, my dude." My voice cracks, the emotions from the past few weeks bubbling over. "I'm so sorry I haven't been able to call until now."
"Oh, it's okay. James told me you were sick."
My breath stalls. What?
"Yeah. He said that's why he was calling to check on me instead. Listen, I really don't need babysitters."
My heart explodes in my chest, my mind racing at what he's saying, at what that means. I clear my throat. When did you talk to James?
Almost every freaking day since I've been here, Wendy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a little overbearing.
He calls you? My throat swells.
Yeah. Did you not know?
My chest cracks wide open, tears rimming my lower lids. Even when he was threatening me, he was checking on John. Does that mean he was always bluffing? No, I knew. I sniff. I'll let him know to back off.
Okay, thanks. Hey, you gonna be home tonight?
My brows pull in and I glance around. Yeah? Why?
Dad said he's picking me up and to call and let you know.
My stomach twists when I realize he's talking about the mansion. Dad's coming to get you, I repeat, unsure I heard him right.
Yeah, said there's something he wants to tell us. I don't know, but I don't really want to be with him by myself.
My loyalty splits in two, wanting to stay true to James and knowing he wouldn't want me anywhere near my dad, but also wanting to be there for John. And as much as I want to say no, wait for James to come home and pretend my dad doesn't exist, I know I can't. Not if it gives me a chance to see my brother. Okay, I'll head there now.
Cool.
Cool, I repeat back, smiling as I hang up. There's a lightness floating through me from the anticipation of seeing him, even though guilt wraps around my middle, knowing James will hate that I'm there. But hopefully he'll be able to see things from my point of view. I was feeling off all morning. I told James I loved him, and he couldn't say it back. Not that I was expecting it, but still, When you lay out your emotions, it hurts when they aren't returned. But him checking in on John, even while he was spinning a different tale to me, that means more than any words ever could. I pull up James's number on my phone and dial, my heart swelling with gratitude for what he's done. I want him to know that I know, and I also want to tell him where I'll be. He won't be happy, but he promised not to control my life. I'm not a hostage anymore, and I won't let him tell me who I can and can't see. His phone rings and rings, but he doesn't answer. I frown, trying to dispel the unease that trickles into my gut. I leave him a message and then send a text just in case, and blow out a breath, brushing off the anxiety. An hour later, I'm pulling James's Audi into the mansion's drive and being stopped at the gates. My brows draw in at the new extensive security features that line the perimeter. 4 men are stationed on the outside, and one walks up to my window knocking on the glass. I roll it down, confusion spiraling through me. Hi? I'm Wendy. His brow raises. Peter's daughter? He's probably expecting me? The man doesn't speak, just nods and walks away, whispering into another guy's ear before they open the gates and let me through. What the hell? Nerves snap and crackle beneath my skin like ants scurrying through my veins. I'm so disgusted with my father, I can hardly see straight. Not that I'm the gatekeeper on morals. After all, I'm in love with a man whose morals are severely lacking at best. But at least he owns who he is. My father puts on a show, fooling the masses. Fooling me. I park my car and walk up the brick walkway, opening the front door and making my way inside. It's eerily quiet, and my stomach tenses with nerves. Jonathan? Dad? My voice echoes off the high ceilings in the foyer, but nobody responds. Odd. I walk into the formal living room, pulling out my phone to bring up John's number. You came. The voice shocks me, and I spin, my phone flying across the room, cracking as it hits the floor. My hand shoots to my chest, my heart banging underneath my palm. Jesus, Tina, you scared me. Tina smiles, walking into the room until she's only a few steps away. Sorry. Where's Dad? I ask, glancing around. Is he picking up John? Her eyes are slightly unfocused, her pupils round and dilated as she grins. Tina! I wave my hand in front of her face. She jerks, snapping out of her daze. What? Is my father here? A warning tingle races up my spine as I take her in. Something feeling off about this whole encounter. Suddenly, I wish I would have waited for James to get home, so he could have at least attempted to talk me out of coming at all. This just doesn't feel right. Nope, she laughs. He told me to wait for you, though. I tilt my head, my heartbeat whooshing through my ears, my eyes taking in my surroundings. Okay. She steps toward me, stumbling before she regains her footing. Are you okay? Is she drunk? I'm fine. Your father has a new business partner. Brand new, actually. And I was the tester to make sure the product was on point. She taps her nose. My eyes widen, stomach dropping. You're high? Just a little bit of pixie. She grins. Pete doesn't like to touch the stuff, but someone has to make sure he's not being gypped. Her eyes narrow. And there's no one your father trusts more than me. She throws her barb, and it hits the mark, but it doesn't rip me open the way it once would have. It merely stings, a phantom ache for what could have been. Not that I would ever agree to do drugs to benefit his business. My eyes narrow. You're disgusting. How can you be okay with what he does? She huffs out a laugh.
That's rich. Tell me, do you ask yourself the same thing as you let Hook split you with his cock? Heat rushes to my cheeks, and I grit my teeth. That's none of your business. She stares at me, the grin dropping off her face. Ugh, this really sucks. I was told not to hurt you. My hair stands on end, alarm racing through me at her words, and I back away slowly, not wanting to make any sudden moves. Who told you that? Everybody. She glares, stepping toward me. Wendy this and Wendy that. Don't hurt her, Tina. We need her, Tina. She's my daughter, Tina. My back hits the wall, the table next to me shaking from the thump, anxiety swarming my insides as she continues to move closer, her eyes small slits. Do you know how exhausting it is, always coming in second place? I shake my head, putting my hands in front of me, my eyes glancing to my phone across the room. I never asked to be put first. Liar! She screams. Her hand shoots out and slaps me across the face, my head swinging to the side, cheek stinging from the burn. I grit my teeth, desperately trying to keep my composure. Blinking slowly, I inhale a breath, and when I reopen my eyes, I realize how big of a mistake it was to close them at all. Because Tina is right in front of me, and a blue glass vase is in her hand, high in the air. My arms reach up to try and stop her, but she's fast, and it crashes into my head. I fall to the ground, pain searing through my skull as she brings it down again. And everything goes black.
All right. Well, that has been chapters 41, 42, and 43. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Again, next week we will be doing 3 more chapters, and then the following week we'll finish up Hooked. It'll be all done, and we will do maybe 1 or 2 chapters, like I said, depending on how long the chapters are, 1 or 2 chapters of our newest book. Okay, so Hooked is coming to a close. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know that I did. I will see you guys on possibly stream Friday if you're on Patreon. I'll see you on stream for the weekend. If not, I'll see you on Tuesday for another episode. Love you guys all, and peace.